25 years ago, this valley was a war zone. These days, they burn the long grass before planting sweet potato. Back then, the warriors burnt it so their enemies couldn't hide. And nor could we. I was here filming the fighting until it got too dangerous.
Get down, get down.
And now I've come back to find out what happened after I left. And to catch up with a man I got to know well, a coffee grower named Joe Lay.
No, Bassett will say they sit on my ass and this bloody sad thing our country dry.
Number 19, that was stop.
When I first met Joe, his coffee plantation, Kilima, was a thriving concern, with 100,000 trees and an army of pickers. These days, it's a very different picture.
Okay,
While it may be the tail end of the season, there are just 2 pickers. Out here among the trees, it's not hard to see why.
Time we work in picks, old DY and me, old Cherry pulled down old
Now Bobby Lapun.
Lapun.
Yeah.
Na bus yeah. Bus. Now me blow work.
Time fight.
Time fight me blow lose him. Bus.
It's a far cry from the glory days when Kilima was a licence to print money and Joe was a millionaire. I know because I was there. With my partner, Robin Anderson, I spent years at Kilima documenting the relationship between Joe Lay and the Guinea tribe, traditional owners of Joe's plantation land. But there's more to Joe Lay than coffee. His father was the Queensland gold prospector Michael Lay, the first European to enter these densely populated valleys in the 1930s and make first contact with their people. In our film, First Contact, the Highlanders relate how they took the strangers to be spirits, but not for long.
They're lucky to have me in this bloody place. They need me. I need the Bassett. They need me.
Although never recognised by his father, Joe prospered, and when we met in 1980, the coffee planter was successful enough to be having trouble with the tribe who'd sold him his land and still lived all around him.
Giving me 50% something. I want to belong him.
About 1.5 now, right?
Jose, me kiss me 800,000 profit finish. Now already, me like me must work him 800,000.
So Joe helped them start their own plantation. But on the eve of the harvest season, catastrophe. The coffee price collapsed, the Guinea were caught up in a vicious tribal war, and a fortune in unpicked coffee rotted on the trees.
My people, my land. You don't know how much it's hurting me.
Finishing on this tragic note, Robin Anderson and I returned to Australia. "25 years later, I'm back to find out what's happened since. I'm told the war went on for years, with far-reaching consequences for both Joe Lay and his neighbours, the Guinea.
And then that riot came through in all the windows, mate. You look at all the shop windows?
Yeah.
The ones that hadn't had metal grills, all gone.
My first point of contact is Joe's son, Jim.
This is our little place.
Oh, okay.
These both sides.
What's his life been like since then?
Hard, bloody hard. It's been a struggle. There's the glory days and the young days when you saw the coffee flowing through the mills, and it's never been that again for Dad. It's just been a continuous struggle. Come on this side, or this side.
At school in Australia, when I was here last, Jim works in PNG's natural gas industry and lives in Mount Hagen with his wife Rita and children.
Hi, Joshua.
But it's a beautiful valley. What?
Oh.
It's a beautiful valley.
And what?
He's driving me the 35 kilometres out to Joe's plantation in the Nebulia Valley.
So this is basically a war zone for 10 years.
Yeah. The upper. There you go. Bob Connolly.
Did he just say that?
Yes, he did.
Bob Connolly.
Robin Anderson and I spent a total of 2.5 years living among these people, in good times and bad.
You stop long happy long me all get a time. Now also long mundamong belang me also. Hey! Someone knew me. Road's not for the faint-hearted. Morning! Yeah, Paraka!
Paraka's brother, Joseph Madang, was killed in the fighting.
How must I look in you? Hey, sorry. Sorry, long Madang, eh? Yeah. He's thinking back to all those old times, huh? Yeah? Good morning, Montauk.
We finally catch up with Joe at the old house.
How are you? Yeah.
He's killed a pig in our honour.
And I said, hey, what's wrong with you?
The pig, me sit down, me stop, me beline you the same way Dad taught me.
Jim's the only one of Joe's immediate family to stay in the Highlands. The rest settled in Australia.
No, we ate 0 last week.
No, he's still alive, don't worry.
He's alive, son.
After lunch, Joe takes me on a tour of the plantations. Coffee's a high-maintenance crop, and this is what happens when a plantation is neglected for 25 years.
No, he said, look, this is full of rubbish and all this. But what can I do? Because once upon a time it was all loaded. Back in, you remember Bob? But now look at all these skungy trees. But I can't afford to put fertilizer on things there.
Even though the coffee price has gone up, the Garnica have done nothing to re-establish their plantation. After the war, no bank will touch them. And the same applies to Joe.
Gee, it's a long time since you've been back to it.
Hidden here somewhere is Joe's wet factory, where the ripe cherries were crushed to produce beans.
Oh, Joe, this is sad. Hey? I filmed you standing right here. I remember, man, that great, 5 tons of cherry going in. You remember? Yeah, because I remember this was an absolute hive of activity.
You remember all this? This receiving vets was all full all the time.
Yeah.
During the coffee season.
This was once the beating heart of Kilima.
After how many years? 25 years.
Yeah.
And all gone bush now.
Time before you dry coffee here, huh?
With Kilima moribund, Very few Garnigas seem to be working these days, but they have been busy building fundamentalist churches, 11 of them to be exact. This one's located on Kilima, with Joe's blessing. One regular among the congregation is George Pintabia, a member of the Kulga Poipanambi tribe, traditional enemies of the Garniga. It was George's axing, while he was working for Joe, that sparked the tribal war between the Kulga and the Garniga. Back then, we filmed him recovering from emergency surgery in Mount Hagen Hospital.
As I realized that they were gathering to kill me, I tried to run away, but I was choked in the leg, which crippled me, and I couldn't run, so I fell to the ground, and that was followed after about another 10 chops by axes.
That's from the axing?
Yeah, this is
25 years on, life hasn't got any easier.
Oh.
That's right.
That's
they
the
chopped
scars.
the kneecap off. Yeah.
They chop your kneecap off.
Yeah, they chopped the kneecap. It was smashed.
Oh, God.
That's why it disables me too. But 2 axes in the chest also, the sides, the ribs.
The Garniga eventually paid George compensation for almost killing him, but the scars go deeper than the ones we can see.
But I wish I was dead.
Do you really?
Yeah, I wish I was dead. I feel like killing myself or hanging up, but then I think of the kids and life is really worthless for me with all these problems. Everybody, when I go around, they said, oh, because of him being ex, we lost this man and we had lost our properties and all that.
But they blame you for being axed.
Yes, that's what's happening all around this place.
They blame you
Yeah.
because the Garniga attacked you.
Attacked me because you were chopped. The fight started and we lost lives.
Well, when are they going to let it go?
They will never until I die. Until they don't see me anymore. Okay, Bob, we'll see you.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Now, just so we're clear, George says that when the Garniga compensated him, the Kulga and Poipanambi, his own people, took most of it from him because his axing brought them misfortune as well. The war set off by the attack on George didn't just spell the end of the 2 coffee plantations. It condemned the whole valley to 10 long years of bloodshed and mayhem. Aid posts, government offices, schools, all destroyed. A whole generation of children missed out on an education. But here's a positive sign.
The story starts at what page? 2.
In 2016, the Garniga have their first ever primary school, built with Australian aid money, staffed by a trained teacher. There's just one problem.
Yes, 35 itself.
Now, I've heard that you haven't been paid for a long time.
No, I haven't been paid. It's because of the government, like we are trying to put in papers, but delay in the payroll system. That's delaying us for some good number of years, like 2 to 3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
But you kept on teaching?
I'm kept on teaching because of my students here, and this is my community, I have to serve it, and that's what I have to do. And there is no money for us. Like, we haven't got any chairs here or desks to sit on the students here, and they're sitting on the floor. And as a teacher, I have to have a lot of books to support me for my teaching.
You buy them yourself?
I buy them myself. It cost me a lot of money, like 2,000 to 3,000 kina. And this.
Where do you get that from?
That's my own money, which I have saved. My own savings. It's really bad.
Yeah. All due to the fight?
Due to the fight, yeah.
Hey! Morning.
Thomas Time was our interpreter in 1990 and one of the few back then with a secondary education. He's now a clan leader of the Guinea. And like most people I meet this time, he's also unemployed.
Planting long road, huh?
Yeah, we work in Katelo Road.
No, me hammer.
Planting flower.
And good flower.
Even the people who were successful back then don't seem to have jobs anymore.
This is very nice, putting flowers, you know, along the roadside.
Yes.
And that makes the road look pretty. But where are the businesses after 25 years? Where are the workshops? Where are the, you know, how are people earning money?
Yeah, well, we can
I don't see it.
We can put workshops,
Yeah.
but there's no vehicles in the village to come to the workshop. And also to operate the workshop, there's no power coming through. So how can we operate the workshop when we have no electricity and basically we don't have government services? So that does not open up the opportunity for us to do business.
Why hasn't the government helped you? I mean, 25 years later, exactly the same as when I left.
Yes.
No water, no electricity, no sealed road, no school, or at least, you know, the school, they got no money. So what's happened?
That's a very good question.
Millions and billions of dollars have come into Papua New Guinea.
That's a very good question.
In 25 years, no government services, no bank money for development, no one apparently working.
Hello, hello.
And at 77, the once indomitable Joe Lay, a spent force.
It's two different worlds I'm trying to bring together. And the white man's ways were different, and this black man's ways were different too. So I was just meat in the sandwich. And that's how I lost everything.
So you had no money?
No money, nothing at all.
You used to be a multi-millionaire.
I was once upon a time. But then everything just cut off. Church here.
Yeah.
There was a church there.
Yeah.
Many years ago, Joe fell seriously ill and, fearing the worst, invited his son Jim to take over Kilima.
So we put everything we had into it, and then he realised he was actually not going to drop dead. And it came to a head one day, and he just came down to me one day and said, look, you know, Jim, you know, basically I want this place back, you know, I'm not dead yet. And I said, well, I know you're not bloody well dead, you know, you're still bloody here giving me a frickin' headache.
So you'd put how many years' work into it?
Oh, we put a few good years into it.
And how much
3,
money?
4 years. We would have put, you know, all up I can say, I reckon I put in about 100,000. Yeah.
Did he pay you back?
Of course he's not going to pay me back, Bob.
And you gotta give a kiss or a hug or...
So it hasn't affected your relationship with him?
No, in fact, it actually gave me clarity, Bob, because when I walked away, I realised that I treasure my relationship with Dad more than I do the money. So, but one thing that's really driving him crazy is I won't go back out there and help him. Because I said, Dad, we can't work together. That's the bottom line. We will never be able to work together. So, you know, I love you, and I'm going to work on my relationship with you.
What's the future of a place like Kilima?
Yeah, I don't like answering that too much because I'm the only one here from the family. I'm the only one left here with Dad. Do I want that obligation? Do I want to go back and continue what Dad did out there? You know, it's very hard to answer that right now, Bob.
Running a coffee plantation in the New Guinea highlands is no job for old men, and my friend Joe Lay has grown old.
Still a bloody coffee. The same mobs. Last year and this year.
Back in 1990, this is how he dealt with a thief, bundling him off to prison.
Come on, get up, mother.
You will like Tari, kisim pig below me, all right? You will talk. Now you will.
These days, he doesn't seem to have the same authority.
You will me at me go pine him. And me come walk and said, yeah. Now me stop want him. You will come steal him this pig below me. So me want him kind something by me talk. Or you will like support him this Tari. You will support him. Tell me less finish. Fuck the bastard. I'm sick of it now. I will fucking leave. Whoever wants to buy it is going to buy it. There's no law and order. And I'm getting old. I'm 77 now. Won't be long. I think I give up. I just wash everything out and I just, because tribal fighting was, I'm a businessman. And the government didn't help. And all these people didn't help. So why should I worry about all this? I'm not a prime minister to running this country.
It's getting a lot tougher down there. It's getting a lot harder, and when you're in a tribe, everyone feels like they have ownership of what we own. Everyone says it's still part of theirs, you know?
So it's tribal.
Tribalism, yeah. It's hard, man. You're forced to live in two incompatible systems of rule or law. And that's the element of confusion that we're living in right now.
Now you play like Mickey. Me talk here.
Look, man, I don't want to be Joe Lay when I turn 80, you know? And the fire's been taken out of his sail down there. And he's angry all the time and he's upset. And I don't want to be like that. I want to give my kids a better opportunity. And I believe that we could be the last of the Lays in the Nebula, you know, my generation. It's a high probability of that.
Are you happy to live out the rest of your days here at Kilima? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I established and I can't leave this place. I can't.
You can't leave this place?
No, I won't.
So we all want you to spend the rest of your life not fighting here.
For a long time now, Jim and Rita have been trying to persuade Joe to leave Kilima and spend the rest of his days with them.
Are you happy, Dad? Where you're at right now, are you happy?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, what else can I do?
Do you feel like they're looking after you as much as you've given back to them?
You got to give yourself a rest.
Well,
you got to give yourself a break, you know?
Yeah, like it's okay for me. But here, I think the place itself is giving me going. At least I'm doing something.
It gives you purpose.
Yeah, it gives me something to live for and doing the things.
You got to find peace with yourself, Dad. I think that's the main thing that we're all worried about is if you don't find peace with yourself, I think that's what makes us happiest. You got to stop fighting, mate. You just got to stop fucking fighting and do something for yourself. And Dad, all we want to tell you is we love you. I said, we want you more than Kilima wants you. Kilima wants your life. We just want you.
Now, suppose Jim Eno stop long here. Nupara man come up long Papa belong Kilima?
No what narlo noblo man bakam mito. Mito gamba pait bagamba.
True,
You think him?
You know Lara remember.
Min lara mol man.
This is Garnica Korripan. His father was the original landowner of Kilima.
Tasso Korripan Harim. Joe, he got 99-year lease along this bit of place, okay? So he got 50-year, he stopped yet. 50-year, okay? Now, long Australia, long, all got a place long world. Suppose you papa belong ground one time 50-year lease, you buy Salim to spill a lease long, who's that you like? Who's that? Oh, get her. That's all you say, no, got long here.
No what narlo man basta. Na papa blame die, change picnini blong him. Mula song make him all
And custom.
Custom.
Now law.
Law also.
That's all, you know law long government long Papua New Guinea. You know law. He stopped long you yet. This bill of law. Law belong Papua New Guinea. Suppose me like Salim Kilima. Me buy Salim Kilima. Long who's that? Like buy him.
law place belong you, belong country.
Big blood diwai put down the one can listen Joe and put down the soul. Legally diwai come on to him. Jim stuff.
Okay. Now, all get behind him, this bit of passing now?
Yeah.
True. All get along Highlands?
Yeah, all good that.
Two incompatible systems of law. One imposed by outsiders within living memory, the other thousands of years old. That's how long the Highlanders had been farming these fertile grasslands before Jim Lay's grandfather arrived on the scene. They will continue to farm them, and in so doing help underpin the nation's uncertain entry into the modern world. When you look at Papua New Guinea and the future, do you see a glass half empty or a glass half full?
I see a glass that's overflowing, but too many bloody straws in there. And that's why we can keep going. That's why Papua New Guinea can keep going, because it's so damn wealthy. This place is so beautiful. We've got everything, you know, you walk around and drop a seed and it grows. Never say Papua New Guinea's half empty, because it's not. It's overflowing. It hasn't stopped. Papua New Guinea hasn't stopped giving to its people.
I brought him up.
The saga of Joe Lay and Kilima may end with Joe, but the Garniga will still be here, growing their own food, building their own houses, a self-sufficiency that has always cushioned them in times of war and peace.